For you, this one's final 41-41 Winnipeg-Toronto off to BC and Calgary and Vancouver for John Wells and Glenn Suter.
Hey, thanks, Rod. We certainly enjoyed your presentation tonight. I love the shootout in CFL overtime.
That is awesome, and we've seen a ton of it already this year. What a great game out there in Toronto.
That's the fourth CFL overtime game. Calgary Stampeders taking on the Lions here tonight have been involved in two of the other games, and it is the Calgary Stampeders on top of the Lions who are struggling here in the early going. Calgary with 2 touchdowns already.
Yeah, they got a big run by Kelvin Anderson the first drive, a 69-yard drive capped off by Aubrey Cummings, a 14-yard touchdown. Marvin Coleman just broke a 71-yard punt return for the touchdown.
Watch Marvin go. This is a brilliant run for Calgary's second touchdown and the 14-0 advantage that Wally Buono's Stampeders enjoy right now.
Well, the Stamps had lost some momentum in this game because Mark McLaughlin lined up for a field goal previous to this drive and had a dress code violation. They took the 3 points off the board. Lions couldn't do anything with the ball, punted away to Coleman, and this is the result of that punt, and that's why the Calgary Stampeders up 14-0 at this point. Great run by Coleman, who had to break a couple of tackles and probably ran about 150 yards to cover the 71 for the touchdown.
And he was injured earlier on a return, but got back into the game and lugs it 71 yards for the Stampeders' second touchdown. In the first meeting between these two teams, Calgary's Joe Fleming absolutely tormented the BC Lions. And the 71-yard punt return touchdown has Calgary on top of the Lions 14-0.
John, not the start the BC Lions were looking for, and surprisingly this Lion team looks flat in a game that they really wanted some payback against the Calgary Stampeders. You mentioned the last time these two teams played, they lost 35-2 in Calgary. Greg Mons, with his coaching record now at 21-11, has lost 3 in a row, and it was payback time. At least that's what they wanted. Now they're in a big hole already in this game.
Marvin Coleman has set a Calgary Stampeder team record with his 5th punt return touchdown. A 71-yarder, and the Lions have had some real problems trying to get field position in their last 3 games. After a hot start, Damon Allen has cooled off. He needs some consistency from his receivers. Only Jimmy Cunningham has played in every game. Up front, the Lions' offensive line has struggled at times. Played a little bit better last week, but a couple of weeks ago they were in the doghouse.
Yeah, and they've made a couple of changes. They put Craig Hendrickson up there. He's starting beside his brother, Scott Hendrickson, who may be making his last start as a BC Lion. We'll tell you more about that as this game goes on. But Damon Allen, off to a slow start in this game, has not been able to generate a whole lot of offense early, and they are down right now and in a big hole.
The Lions' problems really began when they played the Stampeders in week 3.
Rough play, disqualification. Calgary number 3, first down.
Jack Kellogg out of the game. Wow. Stampeders have a few problems at BC Place. Last time they played here regular season, Wally Buono got thrown out of the game. Remember that?
Yeah, that was last year, and that was for nudging an official, and we'll find out exactly why Jack Kellogg was thrown out of the game. But a huge loss for the Stampeders because he's the starting halfback in that defense.
So Aldi Henry is listed as one of the backups there. Number 9, Dan Disley, is the other. And unfortunately, the infraction is not available for review. So Kellogg is escorted out. Now there's another BC or another Calgary or BC player heading into the Lions dressing room. I didn't catch his number.
Eric England, it looked like to me, John, that is also headed to the dressing room. So we'll sort it out and let you know exactly what happened.
We're not sure if that's a disqualification or an injury. We'll check that out. Here's Cunningham. Jimmy the Jet has a first down. Nice pass from Damon Allen. Eric Sutton made the tackle.
Best field position of the game for the BC Lions based on the penalty, and that's been a problem for them all season long. is field position. They've had to put together long drives, and they've not scored. They've not finished their drives. This is their best field position in a long time.
And not much running room inside for Sean Millington. He had a good game last week for the Lions. 14 carries, 121 yards.
He'll alternate in that backfield as the single back between him and Robert Drummond. And the Lions may also use Chuck Levy a little bit in this game, number 23. Chuck Levy is now the designated import because of the trade with Dan Giancola, Marcelo Simmons, and Tom Hips over to Toronto for Dan Giancola. He's now Canadian, so the designated import for the Lions can be Chuck Levy, and there he is. So don't be surprised to see him in this lineup throughout this football game.
Yeah, they're pretty high on number 23, 2nd and 9. Allen will put it up. If he gets a chance to get it away, Allen slides safely near the 25. He'll be short of a first down by about 5.
Damon Allen had time to throw the ball initially. Good protection for him, but no one open downfield, so he has to put it under his arm and take what he can, get his field goal team on the field. Anything positive is what the Lions are looking for right here. So inside the 35-yard line, it'll be Louis Pasaglia, who is perfect this season.
Yeah, Louis has had a great run through 25 years of Canadian football, his silver anniversary tour, as it were. Doug Nussmeier will put it down. Giancola will handle kickoffs and longer field goals, we're told. But this one is a chip shot for Sweet Lou. And he has one more. That's career field goal number 845 for Lou Pasaglia.
Well, it really is amazing when you think about Louis Pasaglia's career that started back in 1976. And this will likely be his last year. And I know that people have said that. And in fact, he's said that throughout his career and come back. But he says this will be his last year. And no kicker in the history of football, whether that be National Football League, Canadian Football League, has scored more points than Louis Pasaglia.
Yeah, 3,847. And Paul Osbaldiston is a ways back.
John, when Louis Pasaglia broke into the league, his first coach was Cal Murphy, 1976. The kicker he beat out that year, he had to beat out 5 kickers, but the guy that was really pushing him was Eddie Murray. Eddie Murray went on to a great NFL career, and Louis stayed here, and 25 years later is still kicking.
And won a Super Bowl with Dallas. There's been a lot of guys try and take Louis' job in 25 years. Tony Martino tried. Paul Osbaldiston tried. Paul McCallum tried. And now the heir apparent, maybe another Italian-Canadian.
In 1976, John, Hotel California was making its debut by the Eagles.
See, I remember that.
The Blue Jays had not played a game of baseball yet. 1976. Yeah. Happy Days was the hit TV show.
And that was the year Tony Gabriel got the big pass in the Grey Cup game and broke the hearts of all the Saskatchewan Roughrider fans. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. I heard a lot about that.
Brock Preston on the return. So these are the receivers that the quarterback, Dave Dickinson, will be looking for. What a great group it is.
And a pretty good offensive line as well. Childress and Raham on the right side. Wally Buono said that's probably their biggest improvement's been on their offensive and defensive lines this year. And remember, this is the team that was the West team in the Grey Cup last year.
Absolutely. Dave Dickinson, hot hand already. Kelvin Anderson has run well for the Calgary Stampeders.
Well, the BC Lions on defense run that 4-2-6, led up front by Herman Smith, probably the best defensive lineman for the BC Lions this year. David Benefield back to the linebacker spot. Raphael Robinson made it possible for the Lions to trade Marcelo Simmons. Raphael Robinson moved back into that safety spot, and Don Lindsay loves the way he quarterbacks the defense.
Very solid in the secondary, the Lions. Dickinson on second down, over the middle, one hand on it was all that Vince Danielson could get.
Well, it seems that the Lions have settled in a little bit defensively. They got off to a shaky start with Kelvin Anderson ripping off a couple of runs. They had the Bo Richter. Mark Bo Richter made a big catch for 41 yards in the first quarter while we were at that other game. And, of course, Marvin Coleman's special teams play. So now it looks like they've settled down a little bit. on defense. They just need to get a little more production under their offense, make this game a little tighter.
Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Midas, your auto service experts. Martino is in. First one just about ruined his average, 15 yards. He nailed it off the side of his foot. That was after the Stampeders had the field goal call back because of that dress code violation. Here's Jimmy the Jet Cunningham. And out to the 32. The Lions on returns are not doing all that well. Disley. Starting quarterbacks tonight brought to you by Robbins Donuts. Dave Dickinson, hot start. Damon Allen, well, a little bit cool, but he did engineer a field goal the last time he had his hands on the ball.
Well, he got great field position, which was a big difference, and that's something we talked about. The BC Lions only twice all season long in 5 games have started drives on the other side of the 45-yard line.
Robert Drummond spins for a couple, but there's not much running room for Drummond, who hasn't been carrying the ball all that frequently for the Lions of late. He averages 4.7 yards a carry. Last time, 10 carries, 62 yards for Drummond. The workhorse was Sean Millington for BC last week.
Now, when you look at those numbers on the season for Drummond, you think back to this time last year, Robert Drummond had run the ball 79 times by this time last year. He's way down in that total this year.
Damon Allen has Don Blair, and Blair has about half the necessary yardage for a first down.
You know, Damon Allen's already getting the Boo Birds out and they're on him, but Damon Allen can't do much with 2nd and 15, which he's been in a couple of times already in this game. I mean, there's not many plays in the playbook that go for 18, 19 yards.
There aren't. You are correct. And really, I mean, there's a place where the defense is, we'll give you the 9, we'll give you 12.
Well, that's what they do, yeah. You play off and
yeah.
You let the ball be caught underneath and come up, make the tackle, and get the punter on the field.
And there he is again, Lupasaglia, standing at his 20-yard line. So the Lions don't get much out of this exchange. Coleman has taken one back for a 71-yard touchdown already.
You know, we always talk about Louis Pasaglia as a field goal kicker, and people forget that he has been one of the greatest and most consistent punters in CFL history as well.
Time count violation, BC number 5. 3rd down repeat.
There was one guy missing. David Benefield was missing from the punt team. And so Louis Pasaglia, the veteran, wisely takes a look. He sees he's a man short. If you don't have that man in there, you may get the punt blocked. Lets the time run out, takes the 5-yard penalty, moves back, and gets his player on the field.
Louis Pasaglia has punted for 130,645 yards in his CFL career.
Well, yeah, we always talk about his field goals and how great of a field goal kicker he has been throughout the 25 years, but he's the only kicker in league history that has averaged 50 yards in a season.
That's the end of quarter number 1. It's all Calgary so far.
The CFL live on TSN at the quarter. Brought to you by New Arctic Ice, the invigorating new fragrance of the Gillette series. It's beyond refreshing.
Duffy, Tillman, and Schultz back with you. Usually here we talk about the first quarter of this game, but I wanted to give the guys a chance to talk about that wacky finish in Toronto. And truth be told, it wasn't a very good game offensively for 4 quarters, but the ending in the overtime was terrific.
Hey, James, first 4 quarters, these two teams played because they were so worried about making mistakes. It was offensively nothing. It was kind of boring, to be truthful. But the 4 overtime series, they played to make plays. Look at this, Jimmy Kemp to Michael Clemens. That was the best play of the game. The overtime format works because of the urgency it creates. And I saw some great things for the Toronto Argonauts. Much better in their defensive front 7. Wayne Shaw was a proven quarterback tonight, and I thought they progressed as a football team, Eric.
Well, you know, if you're a Winnipeg Blue Bomber fan, you've got to wonder whether this game ever should have even gone into overtime. Dave Ritchie is going to have to question himself. He had a decision to make on whether to punt or kick at the end, and his indecisiveness caused him to waste a timeout that cost him time and an opportunity for 2 or 3 extra plays at the end, and they possibly could have won. Still, for them to come into Toronto, though, on the road, with Stiegel out of the game, with Goods not dressing, And to come out of this game and get a point, a tie, at least it is some consolation.
And you know the armchair quarterbacks are doing all sorts of strategies. Should the Argos have possibly tried to punt it out of the end zone when Marini missed the field goal? And should Winnipeg have gone for it on 3rd down at the end because they were already guaranteed a point? Schultz said the Argos should have punted. Tillman said the Bombers did the right thing.
The only punt inside the 20.
With a win tonight, Calgary coach Wally Buono moves into 3rd place all time. All by himself. He's currently tied at 131 wins with an old pal of mine, Eagle Keys, one of the great coaches of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So a win tonight, and Wally moves into 3rd spot all by himself and chases Frank Clare.
Right on the heels of Frank Clare, and of course Don Matthews still looking for a few wins to add to that total. We'll of course have that game tomorrow night for you. Edmonton and Montreal should be a great one.
That should be a great game. Stampeders another first down. They have the lead at 14-3. Dickinson has been hot, and he's on the money again. What a catch! What a beautiful catch by Travis Moore.
Travis Moore, John, showed another gear. When that ball was in the air, he took off. Now, there's a flag down on the field, but I believe it was Steve Anderson offside. Now, whether or not he was drawn offside.
BC 42.
Yeah, he wasn't
Penalties
drawn.
declined.
So it was Steve Anderson offside that declined that, and a big play by Travis Moore. Moore showed another speed when that football was in the air because he was right in coverage with Raphael Ball. Watch the coverage. It's tight. Now, when the ball goes in the air, it's right. Now, look at this separation. Ball's in the air, 3 hard steps, lay out, and bring that ball in.
Laid out and dragged it home.
And a subtle little push that he got away with.
Hey, he had a career year in 1999. He could have another career year this year. He has 6 touchdowns already. He had 7 all of last season. So Travis Moore has really come into his own the last 2 years in the CFL. Dickinson again, and that one goes off the fingertips.
Well, now it looks like
the markers are down.
Looks like it may be a late hit on Dave Dickinson. Steve Anderson got in there late. The ball was gone. Now, I'm not sure if it was he went to the head of Dickinson.
Major foul, roughing the passer, BC 42. First down.
Yeah, that's twice this has happened, and Anderson is penalized here.
Earlier on, Marvin Thomas got a late hit on him, and now it's Steve Anderson. It was pretty close, but again, they're trying to protect the quarterbacks, and if that ball is gone, you got to lay off. And Anderson actually accelerated into Dickinson, and that's why he got the call.
And add the yardage in, and the Stampeders are neatly set up at the BC Lion 15-yard line. Another play whistled down. This guy is on target for some kind of season. 16 touchdowns in his first 5 games. And he's on pace for a whole pile, isn't he? 58 to be exact.
Exactly, 58, which would break Doug Flutie's record set back in 1994 when he had 48.
Yeah, that would not only break it, it would shatter it. I mean, if Dickinson keeps up with a hot hand.
Well, it shattered it. Last year in the entire season, he threw 16 touchdowns. He's got that many already after 5 weeks.
And just 3 interceptions. Kelvin Anderson. And the BC Lions are a little tough to run against on occasion. That time it was Marvin Thomas.
And there is the record. Dave Dickinson climbing right up there. Projected 58, like we mentioned, right there.
I'm not so sure he wants us to talk that way. What do you think?
Well, you always wonder if you jinx him, but he does have the hot hand.
Oh, he does. 9 in his last 2 games. One of those was that overtime marathon where he got an extra little bit of time to practice. Dickinson on 2nd and long. And he's got another touchdown. Sliding catch by Travis Moore. And that was sweet. Moore just slid through the end zone and came up with the ball.
Talk about guys on a hot start. Travis Moore with 6 touchdowns. This is his 7th on the season. He had 1 last week. He has got a little touchdown streak going of his own. And the problem with facing the receiver and playing bump and run like Raphael Ball did is you can't see when the ball arrives. Raphael Ball, the DB covering him, could not see the football. Travis Moore could. He sticks his hands out right at the last second, pulls in that touchdown.
And this crowd could get a little angry before this one is over. They were not very pleased with their Lions in the opening quarter. And now they've watched BC give up 3 touchdowns to the red-hot Calgary Stampeders. And the Lions only have a field goal to show for the evening so far at BC Place. Stampeders are hot. This guy, very, very solid. An all-star in 1999. Travis Moore had 1,198 yards, a career high, and 7 touchdowns all of last season. So far this season, he has 7 touchdowns. The pace continues. Here's the jet, and that's a decent return for the first time in some time for the BC Lions. Jimmy Cunningham gives BC a little breathing room and out near the 45-yard line before he was stopped by Eric Sutton.
Well, Cunningham, that jet has been grounded for quite a while, and in fact, it's been grounded all season long. The Lions have just not been able to spring the jet, and part of it has been the guys blocking for him. Part of it has been that he has done a lot of dancing once he touches the football and not really head north-south with it, and that's something that the Lions coaching staff is trying to get him to do. Take it up the field.
Alfred Jackson to the near side. 3 receivers, far side of the field. That's where Allen looks first. And now looks back for the safety valve, Sean Millington. He had a big gain early, and this is another nice run after the catch for Sean Millington. A little something to cheer about at last at BC Place.
Something to cheer about. A big first down for the Lions. And a successful play by Damon Allen. He had to buy some time to get it done, though. Pretty good pass rush from the outside from Jeff Traversy. He forces him to step up in the pocket, and all of a sudden Sean Millington appears.
And that was all Damon to get the pass away. He had to make a nice move to fire for Millington. First down. And here's a big hole for Robert Drummond. He's inside the 35. And he ran into Alondra Johnson.
Well, talk about a crucial drive. And now Damon Allen will go into his hurry-up offense. And the reason he does that is to try and get a flow and a tempo to the game on his side.
It's been a tough 3 weeks for the BC Lions. 3 straight losses. This is Millington to carry. Watch for the first down for Sean Millington.
Well, the big horse, Sean Millington. He took 3 or 4 Stampeders with him. It was Greg Frere's the safety that's going to make initial contact. Jason Clement was in there, and he was just dragging him along. And that's good tacklers in the open field. Watch how Sean Millington hits this hole. He takes a little dance at the point of attack. Now, here's first tackle. There's Frere. He takes him for a ride. There's Shante Peoples getting pulled a little bit.
On another first down, Drummond makes the catch. And a good move to grab an extra couple of yards after stumbling a little bit. So Drummond is more than halfway to a first down. Ray Jacobs made the tackle.
That's one play the Lions have in their arsenal is that hitch pass. The next step to the hitch pass is to fake it to Drummond and go over the top with the football. Look for that later on in this game. They've run a couple of hitch passes, a couple to Drummond, one to Cunningham. See that develop into a long one later.
Millington again, and the Lions are running through the Stampeder defense right now. This has always been a pretty good running football team. Darryl Hall made the tackle, but at times the Lions have sputtered. Last week, Millington had a solid week with 121 yards on 14 carries.
John, this is where they have stopped drives, right down in this area. There's
First
that
and
hit.
10 at the 11. Drummond again.
There's that hitch again.
Yeah, and he was wrapped up in a hurry. Jacobs had a hold of him, number 84, and Shante Peoples too.
Now Joe Palpao calls all the plays for Damon Allen. He does have the ability though in the huddle to, he feels something and he thinks there's something that he wants to go with. He'll go on his own, and it looked like on this particular play on second down, he kind of waved Joe Palpao off and said, I've got one. I've got one on my own now. He's gone to that hitch a couple of times. Wouldn't be surprised to even see it right here, the fake, and then go over the top with it.
2nd and 9. Lions at the Stampeder 10. Allen with time, touchdown toss, batted away. Pryor got there first, number 37 for the Stampeders. And there was a receiver standing at the back of the end zone. Allen had a target. It was Jackson, but he couldn't get there because of a spectacular defensive play.
Wow, the first-year player, Anthony Pryor, baited Damon Allen to throw the football. He knew that Alfred Jackson was back there, but he sat off and watch him. See, he slows down a little bit, cuts underneath him. He knows Alfred Jackson's going to run out of room at the back of the end zone. Can cut underneath it. I don't think there's any way Damon Allen could get that football in there, even though he looked open.
Second field goal of the game for Lou Pasaglia. CFL Live from BC Place in Vancouver. Stampeders have a big lead on those BC Lions. Back at the stadium at BC Place. Stampeders and the British Columbia Lions. The BC kickoff after the field goal, and that one rolls out of bounds, so let's bring in Farhan.
Thanks, John. Midway through the first quarter of this game, Stampeders defensive back Jackie Kellogg was ejected from this game because the referee said he threw a punch. I had a chance to speak to Kellogg as he was leaving the field. He said he did not throw a punch. He hit a BC line with an open hand. Actually, he claimed he pushed him. Either way, he's gone from this game. Now, on that same play, Lions linebacker Eric England also left the field. He was not ejected. He was just suffering from bruised ribs. He is now back on the field.
Interesting night. No doubt about that. Travis Moore has tied a Stampeder team record with his 6th consecutive game with at least a touchdown, set by Alan Pitts in 1997. And the CFL record is held by a former Stampeder too, Terry Evanson, with 10 straight games over 2 seasons. Set that record a year or two before you played, right?
Yeah, it was a couple before me. And Dave Dickinson goes down again here at BC Lions pass rush, but again there's a penalty flag on the field. They've already been called, I'm talking about the Lions, for 2 late hits on Dickinson. Now, this was obviously not a late hit.
Tripping, BC 96. First down, Calgary.
Oh boy, another one against the BC Lions.
Too many mistakes is what Greg Mons was talking about. He's had a pretty good run as the head coach of the BC Lions, but lose 3 in a row, and they turn up the heat here on the West Coast without question. And Mons has been feeling it this week, no doubt about it. Papers have not been all that kind.
Well, Greg Mons has been in a bit of a feud with some of the media and beat writers here in Vancouver. So after a couple of losses, they have taken their turn to take shots at him in the paper, and he's been back and forth in that battle, but that's not where the games are won and lost.
No, and this team has been able to move the football. These BC Lions. 600 yards in offense last week, but again, the touchdowns weren't coming. They haven't been able to connect when they got down inside scoring territory.
And here, again, tonight, same thing.
2 field goals is all they have to show for a couple of decent drives. Here's Dickinson on 2nd down. His target was Alan Pitts. There are penalties down again.
Yeah,
Dickinson couldn't connect with Pitts there.
Bo Lewis is going to get called on holding Travis Moore. It was away from the throw. The throw was to Alan Pitts down the middle, but away from that and where Dave Dickinson was looking for initially.
Illegal contact on the receiver. BC 17. First down.
Initially, there he is, Derek Lewis. Dickinson looked over to Travis Moore's side and wanted a quick pattern to him. Bo Lewis had his hands wrapped all around him. There they are, right in the middle of your screen. Now watch how Bo Lewis, see the grab, hands right on that big number 8 right there. Then let him go, but it's too late. The flag flies, and another penalty for the BC Lions. 8 already tonight.
1st and 10. Stampeders now at the Lions 34. Dickinson stands in. Lots of time. There's Alan Pitts, and he's got room to roam. Pitts gets down to the 30-yard line almost, and he's wrapped up over there by Eric Carter.
Went over there again and take another shot at Derek Lewis. This time a little play action fake, and Lewis had jammed Pitts but then let him go, and Pitts slips in that seam and then picks up the yardage after that on his own.
I mean, this is a superb offense. Alan Pitts is not even the leading receiver on this team currently. He got a couple of touchdowns last week, but he was number 3 going into last week's action behind Travis Moore for 1. Pitts a couple of touchdowns last week. Anderson has been running hard all night, but he's grabbed behind the line and tossed back for a loss on 1st down there. Marvin Thomas made the tackle.
Well, play was made by David Benefield, though. Marvin Thomas made the tackle, but it was Benefield off the edge who forced the play. He didn't get credit for the tackle, but he's the one who hit Calvin Anderson in the backfield, made him reload his feet, and he couldn't get it off in time, and Marvin Thomas came in there and cleaned it up.
Toughest job in football may belong to Dave Dickinson right now, trying to spread the football around to all of these receivers and keep everyone happy.
There's just one football.
Second down. Dickinson under the cover this time. Vince Danielson made the catch. Raphael Robinson made the tackle.
You know, John,
for Danielson tonight.
When you mentioned that about all these great talented receivers wanting the football, and you know, of course, they all want it. Receivers are like 7-Elevens. They're open all night. That's what they'll tell you. But George Cortez calls all the plays, the offensive coordinator for Dave Dickinson, and you got to think that that takes some pressure off Dickinson. When those guys come in the huddle and they say, hey, I want the ball, it's not up to Dave Dickinson. It's up to that guy, George Cortez, to call the play, and the play design is where the ball will end up. So he takes that heat.
Calvin Anderson, and a big hole opens up for Anderson on first down. Keith Franklin made the tackle, number 11 for the Lions. Anderson running well again tonight. George Cortez has a very capable staff under him, with Dan Durazio taking care of the offensive line, Chuck McMahon the receivers and running backs, and this is a very well-oiled machine. There's no question about it. The Calgary defensive strategy and scheme of things. Second and 3. They're at the Lions 13 again. Dickinson has to escape, some pursuit, and he gets away. He'll have the first down. He's down to the 5-yard line as Marvin Thomas had an opportunity, but Dickinson outlegged him.
Well, he really did. And when you think of Dave Dickinson, you don't think of him as a real fast runner. You think of him as a scrambler, a guy who can maybe buy some time for himself in the pocket. He's run 28 times this season for 187 yards. He's got a good average, about 7, but he showed good speed that time, outrunning Marvin Thomas to the corner and picking up the first down.
Last week he ran 9 times for 40 yards. So he's got a decent average when you add all of that up, but not noted as a running quarterback. Calvin Anderson trying to turn the corner. Super defensive play by Raphael Ball, number 27.
Raphael Ball, number 27, the veteran, and he's the older of the two Balls by a couple of minutes. And he's just going to shoot the gap and come right up here and make the play. It's a gutsy move because he's got to leave his coverage when he sees the ball there. He's got to leave Travis Moore and come up. The ball's already tossed out there, and makes a great open field tackle on a guy that can make you miss in a phone booth in Calvin Anderson.
Second and goal to go now. Back to the 10-yard line. So the Lions defense has to come up with a big play here. Force Calgary to settle for 3 rather than this toss for 7. Travis Moore, second touchdown of the night. And that's a career high for Travis Moore. 8 touchdowns already. And this is week 5, isn't it?
Well, you know what? They're wearing different colored pants for the first time ever, the Calgary Stampeders, but it's the same old team.
Yeah, it is the same old team. No doubt about
Travis Moore, number 8 on the season. He's got a touchdown in every single game, and he closes in on Mike Pringle, who's off to a tremendous start in that category with 11 touchdowns.
Pringle's on pace for 100, isn't he? How many, David?
Not quite 100, but he's on pace to break the all-time record set by Corey Philpott, 22 touchdowns on the season.
Yep. He's on pace for 39.6 touchdowns. That would be Mike Pringle. Travis Moore won't be far behind that if he keeps rolling along. 2 more for Travis Moore, and the Calgary Stampeders are all over the Lions once more at the stadium at BC Place. Travis Moore, another outstanding season. He was over 1,100 yards, almost 1,200 last year. And this year he's on pace for more than that, but he has his 8th touchdown of the season already. Travis Moore.
Look at Travis Moore. This is called the cushion between receiver and DB. You got to keep about 3 yards. Just stop it right there. See, he sucked up that cushion completely, and that's the separation at the end of the play.
on the kickoff after that Stampeder TD. Jimmy Cunningham recovered it. BC will have decent field position with 3 minutes to go till halftime. But the Lions are in big-time trouble after Dickinson's third touchdown toss of the night. And a big night for both teams. So that's part of what's coming up at the half with James and company. And we're into the final 3 minutes here at BC Place. Robert Drummond makes the catch, wrapped up by Daryl Hall, who's just having another superb season. Number 4, Daryl Hall.
Well, boy, is he ever. But this is a crucial drive for the BC Lions, and they're going to have to find a way and find an answer for Hall, because the Lions have got to come away with the major with 3 minutes left to give themselves a chance in the second half. 28-6 is a huge hole to climb out of. Got to find an answer to this defense.
Allen stands in, and it's batted down. Batted down at the line by Jeff Traversy.
You know, right now the Calgary defense is playing pretty simple coverages. They're not really blitzing Damon Allen a lot. They're just rushing 4 guys and dropping into the zone. They've replaced Jack Kellogg in the backfield with Eric Sutton, who is also a veteran, so they don't lose much there. So Mike Roach has got his defense playing a very simple vanilla type of coverage, but it's good. It's been good enough so far in this game.
Yeah, that's a lovely secondary back there, isn't it? With Anthony Pryor, Marvin Coleman on the corners. Out to midfield at the 55, short of the first down, and wrapped up by Ray Jacobs. And Allen comes up a little short of a first down. So again, they'll kick it away. And you hate to give the ball back to Calgary, because Dickinson just marches it right down your throat every time he gets his hands on it.
Well, no question. Not only that, but the special teams war is won by Calgary so far in this game. Marvin Coleman has had a big return for a touchdown, so you got to be worried if you're a BC Lion. Every time you punt that football, they can break one. This team is maybe the best special teams team in the Canadian Football League right now.
Well, not only with the return game, but the coverage game too for Calgary has been very impressive. Coleman, not much there, but he's already done a night's worth of work for that 71-yard touchdown return, Marvin Coleman. Dave Dickinson has tossed 12 touchdown passes in the last 2.5 games. He has 3 here tonight. Of course, he got a little help with that overtime encounter at Taylor Field when he had 6.
12 touchdown passes for Dickinson. On the other side, the BC Lions have just 2 majors as a team in their last 14 quarters. And that is really the difference between these 2 teams. The Stampeders finish drives, the Lions have not been able to.
You know, and we talked about the fact that BC has been able to move the football, generate yards.
Oh, what a
Dickinson,
fake.
nice fake. And he finds Alan Pitts out at the 35.
Steve Anderson he was frozen in his tracks.
Yeah, he lost something down on the field there, Ken.
He's picking up equipment is what he's doing. Watch, Steve Anderson had a choice to make right here, and he makes the wrong when he comes up here. And when Dickinson comes out, Kelvin Anderson is underneath, and watch how he freezes him. Watch this. Kelvin Anderson, I'll go get him. No, wrong guy.
Go Blackie!
Penalty markers go down on first down. Dickinson had to just fire it away, and Shante Peoples almost made the catch on the Calgary bench.
Well, penalties, and a lot of these penalties for the Lions, and they've got a bunch in this game already, have been mental errors. And I believe there's a flag down now, and I believe they'll get another one right here. And it looked like it was offside to me.
Offside, BC 92. Down repeat.
Well, they say Noah Cantor, but
yeah, I thought
Marvin
it was.
Thomas is number 98. And Herman Smith 91. They've got a lot of 90s up front there.
Either way, another costly penalty for the BC Lions, because now Dave Dickinson has first and medium, 1st and 5 yards to work with.
Dickinson over the middle, and he'll have another first down for the Stampeders out near the 50-yard line. Travis Moore has another catch. Raphael Ball wrapped him up after it.
Well, right now it's just pitch and catch for the Calgary Stampeders. It's like they're running against air in practice or something. It's just, it looks that good offensively for Calgary right now. And you really think that the BC Lions defensively, to change things up, have got to start to send some pressure, try and get Dave Dickinson off of his game somehow.
It may not be easy. Dickinson has time to throw again, and he has Travis Moore one more time.
Goodness.
He lost it and got it back.
My goodness. That is unbelievable, and that's how bad it's been going for the BC Lions. Eric England went down to scoop up a penalty. Keith Franklin knocked the ball out of Travis Moore's hands. When England went to scoop it up, he actually pushed it right back into Travis Moore's hands. Watch this. Moore's going to run the in pattern. Keith Franklin comes up with a heavy hit over the middle. And down goes the ball. In fact, that was so quick it looked almost incomplete on the play.
It was. And they have ruled it incomplete.
Oh, there you
go.
go.
When you saw it dribbling right back to Travis Moore, that's kind of explaining the last 4 weeks for the BC Lions.
Well, they did catch a break because the ref did call it the way it should have been called as an incomplete. Big hit from Keith Franklin.
This doesn't happen very often. Calgary looking at 2nd and 10. Over the middle.
Hey, look at his pass.
Bo Richter made the catch, and that'll be another Stampeder first down. David Benefield, the tackle.
Well, it's a game of inches, and it's a game of angles. Football is a game of angles, and Raphael Robinson on that cover, he got too far to the inside of the field, and then he allowed Vince Danielson to outrun the angle.
Bo Richter's second catch of the game. Had a beauty in the early going of the first quarter. 1:20 to go till halftime. The Lions in big-time trouble if they don't get the ball back. Flags down. Dickinson unloads. And nice defensive play right on the line. Bo Richter was the intended target, and Ball was covering him.
Throughout this game, the Calgary Stampeders slotbacks have been awfully close to the line of scrimmage on their what is called the waggle motion towards the line.
Offside. Number 42 BC. First down repeated.
Too many errors.
Oh boy, another
Steve
penalty.
Anderson again.
Well, these are killers, these kind of penalties, because they're mental mistakes. An offside penalty by the defender is simply a lack of concentration right at the snap of the ball mentally, because you don't move until the ball moves. It doesn't matter what Dave Dickinson says. Defensively, you're looking at the football at your corner of your eye. It's a couple now for the Lions that have given Dave Dickinson some good field position.
Yeah, 1st and 5 here. Dickinson swings it back near side. Kelvin Anderson wrapped up almost immediately by Herman Smith.
And this is what I'm talking about defensively for the Lions now. I mean, they're in a situation here where the Calgary Stampeders have converted on 2nd down pretty much all game long. Send some pressure at Dave Dickinson. Take your chances and see if you can't get a sack, make something happen, because if you don't get momentum now, you're on a slippery slope, and you don't like what happens at the end of that slope. It's a big L.
2nd and 5. And this skid for the BC Lions began 3 weeks ago when they played the Stampeders at McMahon in Calgary. BC went into that game unbeaten. They've lost 3 times since. Dickinson just missing. It is incomplete. Ball was again covering on Kelvin Anderson again.
Well, the Lions went with the 4-man rush, dropped everybody else off under coverage, and just hoped that Dave Dickinson would throw it underneath like he did and then come up and make a tackle. And Raphael Ball knocks that ball down, gives the Lions their, what I think is their first stop on defense in this game.
Martino has not been busy. He has not been called upon to punt very frequently this evening. Cunningham. A couple of yards into the BC end zone. Nice kick. Cunningham about 5 deep. And he's got about 3 yards as he slipped on the turf making the cut. You wonder if he's getting a little tired out there. You know, I mean, he's running every play on offense, and then they're looking for big yardage from him as their only real threat on kick returns.
Yeah, and I don't like the decision. And you got 36 seconds left in the game, or more than that when he catches the ball. Give up a single point, get the field position. You're 2 first downs away from trying a field goal to go in at halftime. You know, and that is very attainable with 36 seconds left. You get 7-8 plays offensively if you're efficient. Cunningham tries to run it out. Now, with a couple of quick stops, the Stamps may get the ball back with a chance to kick a field goal.
Not very efficient production by the offense. Sean Millington running hard earlier, but they were expecting that, and he has only a couple there. Wrapped up by Joe Fleming.
Well, see, that's Greg Maughan's reaction after Jimmy the Jet Cunningham decided to run that one out and got caught on the 2-yard line. You know, he gives up a point, which really is irrelevant when you're down 28-6. You give up the point, you get the ball out in the middle of the field, and now you have a chance with 2 first downs, maybe 3. You have a chance, a crack. It's a long shot, but you have a crack at kicking a field goal to go in at halftime.
You're saying there's a chance.
There's a chance, albeit a slim one. And now you got the Calgary Stampeders with 30 seconds left. They get a stop here. They're going to get the ball back with 16, 17 seconds left. 1 first down, and they're in field goal range.
I hate the call, too. I agree with you. Absolutely. You're correct again. Swing pass. And that is well read by the Stampeders as well. Millington grabbed a couple, but that's all. And here you go. Right back to Calgary.
Well, Louis Pasaglia will now have to kick this ball out of the end zone, probably 7-8 yards deep. Marvin Coleman will line up around the Lion 45-yard line to receive the kick. He's already run one back 71 yards for a touchdown. Any type of run back from Marvin Coleman at all, and the Calgary Stampeders are already in field goal range.
Yeah, look where Coleman's lined up. He's standing out near the BC 45, so he could turn this into a chip shot. Well, now he's backed up to about the 50. And it's not deep by Lou. Flags are down, and Coleman may have a difficult time getting his hands on the ball. Now he draws another flag, so the penalty will help the Stampeder cause as well. And tempers flare there a little bit. Benefield in the middle of a shoving match.
Well, there'll be a no yards call. It'll be the bounce back no yards, the smaller of the 2 penalties, but they are in good field position. The only good news for Greg Maughan is that while that ball bounced around, it took a lot of time off the clock. They started with 24 seconds. It's down to 11 now. So that took a couple of plays away from Dave Dickinson with the football. Now, depending on where they put it right now after these penalties are worked out, they're in field goal range for Mark McLaughlin.
Things looked so easy for Greg Maughan last year after taking over the Lions partway through the season before. He had a 13-5 record last year. That 6-game win streak the season before, and his career record of 21-11.
Calgary.
Oh.
No yards. 99 British Columbia. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 56. On British Columbia, it'll be down repeated.
That's a handful of penalties. Jason Kralt taking one. Benefield for this.
Yeah, and that's just discipline.
Yeah, and that's after the play. I mean, you may get a little frustrated out there, Glenn, but when you take those penalties, you really hurt your football team, and you also create all kinds of problems down there for your head coach, not to mention an ulcer or 2, perhaps.
12 penalties in the first half alone for the BC Lions, a lot of them mental errors.
Looking for a timeout now with 11 seconds left.
They'll have to kick it again. Now, the only good news for Greg Maughan, like I mentioned, is that the time came off the clock. Now, Dave Dickinson may not get a chance to go to the end zone once. Once Coleman takes this ball with 11 seconds left, he's got to get up the field and get down, unless it's wide open, and get that field goal team on the field. You know, what is most surprising, I think most frustrating for Lions fans here in BC is the fact that these 2 teams truly battled last year. In fact, Greg Maughan's won 3 of 4 in the regular season.
Yeah, and they were all close games. First meeting this season was not close at all. The Stampeders shut down the Lions in every aspect of the game and won 35-2. And that's when BC's problems really surfaced. Pasaglia doesn't get a good one away. It's blocked and into the end zone. And Bo Richter touches it in the end zone.
Well, I don't think
flags are down.
I don't think he got the handle, John.
No,
I think he knocked it out,
touched
which
in the
means
end
it'll
zone.
be a safety.
Yeah, you don't get a touchdown if it trickles out, but there's still a penalty marker down.
Oh, boy. No. Another one?
Another one.
That's the 18th combined between two teams, the 18th penalty of the first half. We're going for a new record.
Holding. BC 96 is declined. We have a safety touch.
So Eric England.
You know what? All things considered for the BC Lions,
That's not bad.
that's not bad. They were looking at field goal range anyway. Okay, now if Mark Boerichter can somehow find the handle, it's a disaster, but he doesn't and knocks it out. Now it's a safety. Now what happens is the BC Lions give up 2 points and have to give the ball back to the Calgary Stampeders, but there's not enough time for Calgary to get any more points. So they were going to give up 3 for sure. Well, an attempt at 3 for sure. If McLaughlin makes a field goal, it's 3.
So you're saying it's a little better, it's only 1 point.
It's 1 point better in the scenario that Greg Mons was looking at, even though it could have been a disaster had Mark Boerichter caught that ball.
Yeah, no question about that. What do the BC Lions have to do to get on track? I mean, somehow or other, we watched this team for the first 2 weeks of the season and thought, boy, this is a team contending for top spot without question.
Yeah, well, they have
and
to.
The offense just hasn't looked like a top-ranked offense in the last 3 games and now game 4 here.
Well, I think offensively, they got to stretch the ball down the field. They got to move the ball, go deep, throw it up top. If you don't catch it, at least you stretch them out, and defensively, be a little more aggressive.
Lots of work to be done for the BC Lions and Greg Mons as they head to the dressing room. Stampeders are all over the Lions, and the Boo Birds are out here at BC Place. Looking at that scoreboard, you might be able to understand why. Lions and quarterback Damon Allen down by 24 to the Calgary Stampeders. Let's bring in Farhan Lazi.
Well, Coach, you're down 24 points heading into the second half. Talk to us about what you said to your team at halftime.
Oh, we just got to decide we're going to go play football and quit making the stupid mistakes and miss tackles and start playing our kind of game. And we just got a decision to make. We're either going to keep playing and making mistakes and get taken to the woodshed again, or we got to start playing some football. And it's just a matter of eliminating mistakes, and the players have decided they want to get after it.
Coach, good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Tense times for the head coach of the BC Lions. You can hear it in his voice. Travis Moore has handled the Lions all by himself so far in this game. 4 for 73, a 38-yard touchdown strike, and a couple of TDs for Travis Moore.
You remember back when Roberto Duran was saying, no mas, no mas? Well, the BC Lion defense right now is saying, no more, no more,
No more.
no more. Because Travis Moore has had his way with this Lions secondary. A couple touchdowns like you mentioned. 8 now on the season. He's off to a tremendous start and has just been getting open play after play for Dave Dickinson.
Travis Moore has as many touchdowns so far this season as do the BC Lions.
Well, you just look at that. Over the last 10 quarters between these two teams, the Calgary Stampeders have outscored the Lions 79-9.
Absolutely amazing.
Wow. That's what you call dominance. And, you know, I'll tell you something. Greg Mons, what he mentioned there is absolutely right. This is where you get a chance to see what you're made out of. Looking at your 4th loss in a row, down in a big hole. That's what's happened between these two teams. You're just getting it handed to you. What are you made of? Are you going to come back and fight, or are you going to lay down?
Greg Mons had an outstanding record against the Calgary Stampeders after taking over the Lions 2 years ago. He was 5-1 against Calgary during the regular season, but now he's lost 2 games, and he's in danger of losing this one tonight. This is not going to be an easy road back for the BC Lions, no matter what the Calgary Stampeders do. They need some big plays, and they need them in an awful hurry to get anywhere close to respectability against Calgary tonight.
Well, I think they got to be more aggressive in the second half, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Attack the Calgary Stampeders. Don't sit back on them, or this could get real ugly.
Chuck Levy on the return for BC out across the 35 to about the 36. And Damon Allen had such a great start to this campaign, winning his first 2 games. He has struggled over the last 3 weeks. Here's how the quarterbacks stack up.
And one of the things that Damon Allen has to do to improve those numbers overall is to run the football a little bit more. You see all those touchdown passes from Dickinson, but 11 yards rushing for Damon Allen is certainly not enough for him. He needs to take off and run the ball more if it's not there, and create some openings in that defense that he can exploit later on.
And the Lions had success pounding the ball with Millington in the early going, but they've got a long way to come back, so they may not be able to do that. They'll have to put it up, and that was an errant throw intended for Robert Drummond. Frustration everywhere.
Well, the play didn't look like it was working from the beginning. I mean, this is a play that when Damon went to run the play action, it looked like he almost ran into Millington. And then when he, or excuse me, Drummond, watch him turn around now. He kind of almost runs into him, has to kind of get out of his way, and then he is caged in by 3 Calgary Stampeders and has no options.
Yeah, Jacobs was the first guy there, and then Shante Peoples came in and put the hit on Damon. So 2nd and 10 for the Lions now. Not a great start to the 3rd quarter. And Allen is off target there as he looked for Rocky Henry.
Alfred Jackson, there's a flag down, John. Alfred Jackson was complaining to the officials he might have been interfered with. Eddie Davis was over there on the coverage. He was the short pattern, not the ball, not the receiver that Damon Allen was throwing to.
Illegal contact on a receiver, Calgary 37.
Well, say it was Anthony Pryor down the sideline. Eddie Davis was over there as well, and both on the same side. Either way, it gives the BC Lions a first down. And yet again, another penalty.
Yeah. But they'll take a first down just about any way they can get it right now. Out at the 45, Allen dumps it off, and he missed Millington. He had him in the open, and he just took a little too much off.
How do you know when it's going bad? How can you really tell when it's going bad for your offense? When you can't complete a 4-yard screen pass.
Yeah. It was there.
Yeah, and he was open, and he just missed him. And that's not coaching. The play looked like it had potential.
2nd and 10, more heat. Allen stands in, fires, and he has Cunningham.
Simultaneous catch, John, goes to the offense.
Yeah, well, it was a nice, tight bit of coverage there by Marvin Coleman, who had his hands on the ball, too. But Cunningham ended up with it and had it first.
Well, that's what happened. It was a simultaneous catch over the middle. Both Cunningham and Marvin Coleman grabbed it together. Damon steps up and really has to rush this throw. Good catch. Now there's Marvin Coleman fighting for it, but...
No, Cunningham made the catch, didn't he?
Yeah, that goes to the offense.
Yeah. And he stole it while he was on the ground. Here's Alfred Jackson. Good move. Jackson gets inside the 35 to about the 31. 3rd game for Jackson so far this season. 9 catches, 155 yards coming in, and 16 right there.
Again, they go with the no huddle to try and get some pace to the game. Got a nice drive going here, and this is a drive that not only gives them some confidence offensively, but also gives that defense that's over there watching on the bench some confidence the next time they have to come on the field.
One of the Lions' best drives of the night to start the 3rd quarter, and Allen wrapped up by Darrell Hall after about 5 yards.
And that's why I was talking about the running of Damon Allen. Take off a few times. Damon Allen's at his best when he's using his feet to attack defenses. And what it does, it gets him 2nd and medium, number 1. He gets a few yards, and it makes that D-line respect that at any time he could take off and run.
This team has far too much talent to be struggling as much as it is right now.
I'll tell you, it's an awful tough team when you're playing the Calgary Stampeders to come back on.
Oh.
Hey, 2 to go.
You know, and what Greg Mons really has to do is become a little more aggressive, like we mentioned, on both sides of the ball, but not deviate too much from the game plan because there's still tons of time left on the clock.
But they have to score early here. Here's Sean Millington. And Millington cracks for about 4. I think he might be a tad shy of the first down.
Well, if he is short, John, and I think this is where you got to gamble.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're down here in the scoring zone. You're a struggling football team that's way behind. This is maybe where you take a crack at it and get some confidence and some momentum if you can pick up the first. And I believe that's exactly what they're going to do. Joe Paopao sending in a play to Damon Allen.
It's a long yard.
Well, it's almost 2 yards. But I like the call to gamble.
Lions go gambling. Critical play for BC's hopes here tonight to get back in this one.
Well, it looks like there's a little confusion.
Play takes a while to develop. And only on second effort does he get close. Only on second effort.
If the Lions come back and get close in this game or tie it, if they can somehow find a way, they can look back and they can say that Robert Drummond was the main reason. They're very close, and the only reason they are close and they're measuring is because Drummond put in that second and third effort, or he's dead in the backfield.
Well, just enough.
You got it.
3/4 of the ball.
Well, he was caught in his tracks in the backfield, John. Looked like some confusion with the running backs, and look at the hit right there in the backfield. I believe it was Mark Pilon that comes up with it, and he shakes that one with some second effort. Right there, a little spin move, and away he goes for the first down. That's the Robert Drummond first down all by himself.
So the drive continues, almost intercepted. Cunningham was the target and was a lot closer to Anthony Pryor, number 37.
Trying to get Cunningham inside, but the ball just floats a little bit on Damon Allen, and like you mentioned, it's too far in front of Cunningham and almost into Anthony Pryor's hands. All he had to do was catch it. Sounds easy. Sounds easy from up here. All he had to do was catch it.
2nd and 10 Lions. They trail by a bunch.
Yeah, again, look at the time count problem for the Lions. They're trying to get the right formation on the field. They've had some confusion in this drive trying to set people up. Jason Klum had come all the way across the field to the far side wide receiver position. They've got to try and get their formation set up to give Damon Allen a chance to call for the ball at the line of scrimmage.
Well, they didn't get penalized there. It's still 2nd and 10. Allen looks to the corner. Cunningham is there, and he missed him by about 10 yards, but there's a marker down at the 3-yard line.
Might have been a little grab there by Dan Disley.
And now another flag comes down as frustration shows out there.
Well, we
gotta believe it's against Calgary here, don't you?
We just may get a new record in penalties in a game. I don't know if they even keep that record, but
illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Calgary number 9. Objectionable conduct. Calgary 51. First down.
Well, this is how you keep the drive alive.
Well, it's starting to balance out a little bit because in the first half, the BC Lions were victimized in all the penalties, and they were the guys making all the mental mistakes. And now it's balancing out a little bit, and Calgary has made a couple of mistakes on this drive and are now looking at their backs against the wall.
Interesting number right there. 5 first downs in the opening half and 5 on this drive. First and goal to go. Lions at the Stampeders 7. Bootleg Allen, touchdown toss. Hendrickson. Craig Hendrickson. And the way they're celebrating, that must be touchdown reception number 1 for Craig Hendrickson, who was in a tight end position.
Sure, why not give it a try? The big guys come in. Hendrickson comes in there. He puts on an eligible number, first of all. Normally, he's number 59. He puts on number 90. That makes him eligible. And he wears both numbers in the game. So now he's eligible. He's on the end of the line of scrimmage.
I have a correction here. Well, it's his second catch in CFL history, but his first for a touchdown. Craig Hendrickson cradled that one gingerly, but made the catch, and the Lions are roaring back, so to speak. The penalty marker comes down after the tackle, and the Stampeders still have a 17-point lead, but the Lions have a little something to celebrate with this touchdown.
Craig Hendrickson sells it inside like he's blocking and then sneaks in behind. Eddie Davis jumps out of his coverage, and goes after Damon Allen. See him sneak in behind the coverage. There's Eddie Davis right there and in behind, and watch the cradle job by big Craig Hendrickson, who with that touchdown now has one more touchdown than 3 of the 4 starting receivers for the BC Lions.
There you go. And he wouldn't have broken a dozen eggs. He cradled that to the ground. And it's not very fair when Dan Payne jumps on you because he's 300 and change, right?
And then he goes back to his regular 59 where he can play that guard position on the offensive line. And the brothers over there, Craig and Scott, saying, yeah, that's a pretty nice catch.
Stampeders first down, Calvin Anderson, and he's hammered in there.
Oh, here's a surprise, John. There's another flag.
Yeah. Jason Clement was there for the play.
Delay of game, dress code violation, Calgary 87.
Oh, bro.
Second down.
Second dress code violation charged against the Stampeders.
You know what?
And it's interesting, Wally, you got to dress the boys properly. That's Aubrey Cummings. Earlier, Mark McLaughlin was wearing the wrong kind of socks, right?
Yeah, but that to me is a warning. That's a warning. It's in a game with this many penalties, I'm not sure that that's a penalty that has to be called. Let's put it that way.
I was wondering why the barefoot kicker never got a dress code violation for only wearing one shoe.
Yeah, I guess.
But he's out of town now.
He's not here. John
They
Baker.
released him. It was John Baker.
Well, you know, the problem with Aubrey Cummings is he's got the red socks on. You got to have some white coming up on those socks. So now they got to go and check out the whole exact rule book to find out about the socks, which to me is ridiculous.
So basically his socks are too short is what you're saying. He's got some white on down there.
Yeah, so now both teams are going to have to hire a fashion coordinator to have them on the sideline, I guess, for every game.
21 penalties so far tonight. That was the latest.
I'm sorry, tacky. Too much red on that sock. That's just, you work with me, boys. This is not happening.
We'll get Mr. Black to come here and do the critique. Fashion faux pas, another penalty. We'll be here for a while, folks.
You know, this is going to be a special game for Craig Hendrickson, really win, lose, or draw, because, you know, you think back to that touchdown that he just scored, his first ever. He's getting a chance to play beside his brother Scott Hendrickson. He started, of course, at guard, and Scott started at center, and it's likely the last start of the year for Scott Hendrickson. Scott Hendrickson has just been accepted.
Delay of game, dress code violation, Calgary 83. Second down repeated.
Scott Hendrickson has just been accepted into the fire hall, something he's been trying to do here in Vancouver for a couple of years. And he went and talked to Adam Rita this week and said he wants to take this job. He's getting on his career. He's played for 9 seasons. He's getting up there in age, and he needs to take this opportunity while it's there. So this will be his last start. He starts the job in October and will back up until then. Last chance for the two brothers to play beside each other.
As starters, at least.
As starters.
Now he's going to trade in his helmet for another kind.
That's right. And go to another team.
And I'll tell you what, you got a fire at your house, he can break down the door.
No question. Memorable night for Craig Hendrickson, no matter how it finishes, I'm sure.
Well, they both had a great run in the CFL. I mean, it's not necessarily over. It's just moving back a position so he can start on another career. Calvin Anderson, second down, and a whole bunch of yards. And the Lions are revved up a little bit. Jason crawled in on the tackle there. While you were telling that story about the Hendricksons, you missed another dress code violation. Travis Moore apparently has his socks too short or something down there.
Oh, well.
So let's bring in Farhan and see if we can figure out what the fashion code police are seeing down there.
Well, folks, they're calling this a dress code violation, but it's actually more of an equipment foul, and this is coming from the supervisor of officials for the Western Conference, Larry Rohan. There was a protest filed earlier. He has given the officials here authorization to call dress code violations every time the Calgary receivers don't have their knee pads below their knees. So it's not a sock problem, it's a knee pad problem. Glenn?
Okay, so there you go. So the socks were okay.
Socks are okay.
The red
pants are
clash.
too short.
Yeah. You either need longer socks or shorter, or longer pants or shorter socks or something.
Yeah. Here's Jimmy Cunningham. Stampeders well covered on that punt. But Cunningham gives the Lions fairly decent field position to start this next drive, beaten all season.
Well, maybe the best team in the league right now against the hottest team. and I can't wait.
Yeah, it'll be a super game. We get to see the Alouettes and the Eskimos tomorrow night on Adidas Friday Night Football. Alfred Jackson makes the catch, but I don't think he made a yard.
Well, no, and this is what I'm talking about, being more aggressive with the football. I mean, I've seen 4 or 5 of these hitch passes, and you do want to stick with your game plan somewhat, but you got to go down the field. It's time to get aggressive, take some chances, and throw the ball down the field.
You start to wonder about how talented the Lions receivers are. And another missed opportunity by Rocky Henry there.
Well,
I mean,
you know,
when you look at it, Glenn, do they have enough talent in the receiving corps? It certainly doesn't stack up against what the Calgary Stampeders throw out there.
well, and part of the problem with it is there may be talent there, but it's talent that have been in and out of the lineup. Last week, Jimmy Oliver was in the lineup. Now Rocky Henry's in. Jimmy Oliver was hurt. Now he's out. Alfred Jackson, number 7, who you're seeing at the back of the bench there, he had to play wide receiver to the field. He's had to play slot back. Then he moves back to the short side receiver. Don Blair has been in and out of the lineup. This has been the lack of consistency in that receiving corps has hurt them.
Only Jimmy Cunningham has played all of the games for the Lions so far this season. Stampeders looking for a return. And it's wrapped up quite quickly. Leading the tacklers, Roger Reinson.
To an acting family. Now, Daniel, you're no stranger to Vancouver. You've lived here for 3 years, but you're working on another project here. Tell us about it.
I'm directing and acting a film called Triggerman, which stars myself, my brother Steven. First time any 2 Baldwin brothers are going to work together in a film. It's pretty exciting. And Elizabeth Hurley, Nick Moran, and Reese Evans.
Now, you're also a good friend of Lions quarterback Damon Allen. You live right next door to him. I hear you dominate him on the basketball court.
Well, you know, Damon may play football, but when it comes to basketball in our Monday Night League, I've been kicking his butt for quite some time now.
Yeah, so if Damon's struggling out here, we know who to blame.
You know what, man? I'm ready to warm up. In case. I just want you to know.
Then, in case you didn't know, he played at Ball State, home of the famous Ball brothers with the BC Lions.
Well, there's brothers everywhere here tonight. We got the Balls, the Crumbs, the Hendricksons,
Baldwin
and
brothers.
the Baldwins. Okay, name the other 3 Baldwin brothers who are enacting.
Oh, man.
Come on.
Give me a minute.
Okay. On the money, and he breaks a tackle. Danielson, number 88. Inside the 30-yard line. Vince Danielson.
Raphael Ball stopped his feet or may have made this tackle. It's coming right over the middle, and Raphael Robinson misses him, but Raphael Ball on the outside, number 27, and he had stopped running. His man had run a little curl pattern in front of him. He kind of stopped running, and then he realized that Danielson had broken the tackle from Robinson and then decided to run him in. Had he kept moving, he might have had a chance at him.
Too many weapons for these Calgary Stampeders. Too many targets for Dave Dickinson. There's another one, and Danielson can't bring it in that time. Actually, Bo Richter, number 89.
Well, that may be their first mistake.
Very efficient. 14 of 20, 246.
Well, the key is no interceptions, no mistakes, and you know, and that was a tough but catchable pass, and he has just basically been flawless.
Stampeders all over the Lions one more time tonight, 30-13.
I think the clock died again.
And the stadium clock is down. Now it's up one more time with 5:17 showing. In the third quarter, clock has been flickering on and off. So I've written the score down so I can remember it. Second and 10. Stampeders at the Lions 33. Some heat on Dickinson. He escapes. Wide open target is Danielson. One-on-one with Robinson, and Danielson wins that for an extra couple of yards.
Plays made because Dickinson buys some time. You know, he's up there moving around in the pocket because it looked like the Lions had some pressure initially, but if you give a quarterback this much time or he can buy this much, there's Steve Anderson, he went right by him. He bought some time for himself, stepped up, and then Vince Danielson opens up. The Lions are just sitting back, and after a certain amount of time, someone's going to spring open. You just can't cover for more than about 4 seconds.
Solid night for Vince Danielson, who had some injury problems earlier in the season. 81 yards tonight. Setting the Stampeders up at the BC 10-yard line again. Touchdown toss, Alan Pitts. Oh, almost a miracle catch as he turned around and got his hands on it.
Travis Moore.
Open, was he?
Well, he was 7-11 because he was open tonight, and he's been open all night. And Travis Moore opened up just after. Here he is, right in the middle of your screen. Look at this little inside move, and he is wide open going, what do you mean, man? Every time you throw it to me, I come up with a touchdown. But Dave Dickinson had locked into Alan Pitts, who was running a wheel pattern, which is sort of an out and then up down the sideline, and just couldn't get it to him on the outside.
Valiant effort by Alan Pitts. Second crack at a 10-yard line. Dickinson under the cover this time. And a touchdown toss, it turns out to be, to Calvin Anderson.
And again, Dave Dickinson, John, had a choice between Calvin Anderson for a touchdown or Alan Pitts for a touchdown, because once again, Pitts in the middle of the field. Last time it was Moore. This time he was wide open. And Dickinson really, he just could take his pick here. He looks, he sees Pitts. Well, Pitts is open there. I'll just take Calvin Anderson. It's a shorter throw and let him run in and score the major. So the Calgary Stampeders respond to what little momentum that the BC Lions got with their touchdown.
Okay, have you got the answer to the famous Baldwin brothers quiz?
Okay, well, did we say Alec? Like, Alec was in that great movie that Glenn Ross. I love that one.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorites.
And we met Daniel on the sidelines. He's here tonight.
Yeah, Daniel. Okay, there's two.
Stephen Baldwin.
Okay, yeah, there's the other one. Yeah, okay. Now is there another one?
And William. I think that's all.
William. Oh, yeah. Bill.
All of the actors. I don't know who else is in the family. They're from Long Island. I know that. Big household down there. Calvin Anderson has another touchdown for the Calgary Stampeders. Dave Dickinson has tossed 4 tonight. This is number 4.
See how comfortable Dave Dickinson is? He had a chance there to look to the left, look back to the right, kind of get the defensive backs bouncing around by the way he's looking, and then go back to Calvin Anderson.
On pace for how many?
60.
Projected to 60 touchdowns if he
gotta
stays healthy and all of that. And the record set with the Stampeders by Doug Flutie in 97. Or actually set in Toronto 97. And bettered it in his days in Calgary.
The other thing is, if he keeps playing like he is right now, last week he was taken out, late in the third quarter versus Toronto. This week he'll likely be taken out pretty soon.
Yeah, but he does have that 4 extra quarters of overtime, right?
Yeah, well,
He added.
Actually, some talk as to whether or not they should be added to the same stats as the regular stats in the record book.
Too complicated if you take them out, I fear. Jimmy the Jet Cunningham, and again, not much on the return. Cunningham is really only averaging about 4.5 yards on punt returns per game. See where he started here, Glenn.
Well, here's the thing that they're talking about. Watch the Jet. Why does not take this ball and go like that? Okay, take that ball, head up the sideline, straight up the field. He goes the opposite way. Now he's going horizontally across the field, bouncing around, not getting any yards. If you take it straight up the field from where he catches the ball, maybe he gets 5 and a headache, but that's an important 5. Now he goes along the line, they get a penalty, now they're back on their own 10-yard line again.
He's going east-west, not north-south.
Exactly.
And when you're given 5 yards, you should be able to take advantage a little bit.
Well, it also...
I mean, obviously not on the kickoff, but I mean, they're only averaging 4.5 yards on punt returns. So.
Well, I'll tell you, as a guy who used to cover those kicks, I know that when a runner like Jimmy the Jet with his speed turns his shoulders to the sideline and runs across the field, the cover guys love it. It gives them a chance. If he goes up the field, you got to break down quicker.
Allen is hammered to the turf at the 5-yard line. Joe Fleming. And Fleming is a former BC Lion who joined the Stampeders this year from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The update on Joe and Stacy, still expecting. We talked about impending fatherhood for number 76 last week. We were expecting it last Saturday.
Right here. Watch him make the move right here on Craig Hendrickson to the outside with that motor going full speed. Bang. Right in the ear hole of Damon Allen.
Yeah, so Stacy, take it easy there tonight.
Yeah.
Joe will be home on a charter flight shortly after the game.
There's a cell phone on the sideline waiting just in case.
And there's a cell phone down there if you need to call. Damon Allen, second in a bunch, buys a little time, has Cunningham open. Cunningham makes the catch and turns on the Jets. Something to cheer about.
It was a tremendous throw by Damon Allen and good patience and poise, because he could have taken off and run, but there was some Stampeders coming down on him, so he wisely stopped and looked across the whole field. It is a long throw, John. He has to go all the way back, rolling to his right. Looking now. Poise, sit down. Here comes the ball. That's about a 45-yard throw from Damon Allen to get it to Cunningham, who makes one guy miss, and off he goes.
Rocky Henry. Cunningham, 75 yards in receptions so far tonight. So Henry is close to a first down as well.
Cunningham goes out to get some adjustments to his jersey. He doesn't want a dress code violation. Seems that that's been going around. Rocky Henry makes his catch. He's in for Jimmy Oliver, and they'll bring in Chuck Levy, a guy that we thought may be a bigger factor in this game and really hasn't been.
See, in baseball, there's no dress code.
Yeah.
You can wear your pants all the way down to your ankles.
You know, I agree with the dress code violation.
Or you can wear them up to your knees with long socks.
Well, here's the thing. You know, the National Football League has a dress code,
yeah,
and you can be penalized there as well, and it's the same in the Canadian Football League. It's to keep the thing looking professional.
Well, and I don't like baseball for allowing what it does, guys, because the players look different. They don't look uniform out there, and uniform is the name of the game. So, I mean, a dress code should be used, and I mean, you're seeing the Stampeders get penalized for it tonight here. Well, players are trying to take some liberties down there, and they're not in proper uniforms.
Yeah, but I felt like in this game, with the amount of penalties being thrown, maybe that's one you can just warn the guys on.
Well, I take it they must have been warned before the game somehow or other, or they know the rules. Another penalty marker is down.
Well, they certainly should know it. And yet another penalty on the ground.
Offside, Calgary 56, first down, British Columbia.
Shante Peoples
playing on a bad hamstring in this game, and it was talked to him before the game about his hamstring. He missed the last quarter of last week's game, and he said it's very tender. It's very tender, and he's been holding his own.
He played your position in college. He was a safety.
Oh, wow. It's a big safety.
Over the middle and close to another BC first down. Sean Millington. And another penalty flag back in the Stampeders secondary as Millington makes another catch.
Oh, boy.
1:23 to go, third quarter, and the Lions are trying to stay as close as possible to the Lions, but to the Stampeders, but trail 37-13.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness. BC 62, dead ball foul, second down.
That's Chris Perez.
Well, he works on Shante Peoples. That's the guy that he was blocking on the play, and I certainly didn't see during the play any unnecessary roughness.
No, it was after.
But
Hey, Murray, that's horseshit.
Henry. Rocky Henry, and he's hammered by Alondra Johnson as he crosses the 50. There's no penalty there.
No way. Stop the music. There's no penalty.
And here comes Lou Pasaglia. The Lions have been trying all night long to create a little better field position for themselves.
Well, it looks like to come back in this game, they're going to need a break. They're going to need a Calgary mistake, whether it's either a fumble, an interception, something that can give them some life on both sides of the ball.
Pasaglia will step across his 50, and Marvin Coleman awaits to return. Bouncing at the 10 and trickling into the end zone. Not exactly what the Lions were hoping for there. Calgary will take a little time off the clock as Coleman spins out of the end zone and gives up a single point. Well, they'll need to score in bigger bunches than that, but give one more to the BC Lions. Seconds to go in the third quarter. Plenty of time for Dave Dickinson to hit the end zone again.
Wow, and you know, how long does he stay in? That's the question.
Yeah, he may take a rest in the fourth like he did last week. Oh, little bootleg. Nice fake by Dickinson. And he has Danielson. That's the end of quarter number one. Stampeders are stomping all over the BC Lions in week 5. It's CFL Live, a quarter to go from the stadium at BC Place.
The CFL Live on TSN at the quarter. Brought to you by New Arctic Ice, the invigorating new fragrance of the Gillette series. It's beyond refreshing.
Back in the studio where a dress code is always enforced as well, and the guys adhere to it. You both look very nice tonight. And, you know, that Baldwin brother said he was ready to go for the Lions tonight, and heck, maybe they should take him up on it. They have to do something in the fourth quarter to switch things up.
Well, they have to, and I think it's time for Damon Allen to sit on the bench, and let's see what Doug Neusmeyer can do, because nothing positive is going to happen in the fourth quarter for Damon Allen. It's going to be a lot of passing, and it's going to be a lot of pass rush, one-on-one situations, and this is what he's going to see.
Ow.
He got shooken up on this play. You can tell how subtle it is that he comes out of from coming off the ground. I think you got to get Damon Allen out there. Let's see what Doug Neusmeyer can do in game speed and game situations, Eric.
And in Calgary, I'd like to see Troy Kopp get some snaps. There's no question that when you've got a guy in Dave Dickinson in, you know, he's a guy that leads an explosive football team. And
Talk real loud, Eric, because your mic's off. Just talking to this one. We can all share.
Hello. How's everybody at home? That's what you call dropping your microphone. I'd like to see Troy Kopp play because I think they're going to need a number 2 quarterback somewhere along the way. Now I'm going to do what a quarterback should do. I'm going to pass the ball off to James. James?
You know, I talked about a dress code. Part of the dress code is wearing your microphone. You will be fined substantially. Let us send you back to John Wells at BC Place along with Glenn Suter.
So how's our dress code?
Tie
straight?
You know what? That's a penalty flag for that, man. Your tie is not straight.
Oh, come on.
That's 15 yards. There, we got you straightened up.
Took the jackets off tonight, folks, because it's a little sticky here at BC Place. And the Lions continue their struggle. Suits, you live in Vancouver. I want an explanation of what's happened to what we thought was a pretty good offensive football team.
Well, and I still think the talent is there. It's just a matter of getting some consistency in that offense, especially in the receiving core. They're not having it. They don't see it. They're not aggressive on offense or on defense, and they're playing a good football team.
Well, they're playing a great football team. We watched the Stampeders 3 weeks in a row, and they have annihilated football teams, including the Lions 3 weeks ago. This is Rock Preston, and another weapon that the Calgary Stampeders can throw at you when they're looking for a rest for Kelvin Anderson, their number 1 running back.
I got to show you a block, if we can, that Jamie Crysdale puts on David Benefield. I mean, it is just, this is why they're so good. The little things. Jamie Crysdale, the center. Watch, he's in front of, obviously, he's right in here. Now watch him, he comes out and he hooks up right there on David Benefield. Now watch how he sustains his blocks. He's going to slide out there to the left. Now look at this. Hold the block, 1001, 1002, 1003, pancake Benefield to the ground. Give Rock Preston a little seam. The little things like that, the Calgary Stampeders do so well. Hold that block. The receivers are downfield blocking, always hustling.
Lions have moved David Benefield from a rush end position back into a linebacking spot this year. Is that working for them?
Well, I don't know. I think when you look at it now, you'd have to say no. Because not that David Benefield's not playing well at the linebacker spot, but he is a dominant pass rusher off the edge. And he's not getting many opportunities to do that in the system that he's in now as a linebacker. He was a dominant pass rusher last year, coming off the edge every single play. This year, he's back at that linebacker spot, been asked to do a lot of different things.
And he's just not being mentioned as often. I mean,
that's
for
right.
one thing, he might be doing the job, but when he was playing rush end, he was a dominant player and BC's best defensive player last year.
Well, 9 sacks and always back there. You know, always a force to be reckoned with if you're that tackle. You know, but they try and get him involved a little bit in the rush, but you also have to have a guy dropping in pass coverage from your linebacking position.
Dickinson's little shovel pass did not work out, so this is 2nd and 10. Over the middle, and he had it right in the midst of Aubrey Cummings, who couldn't hang on.
Eric England, I'm surprised he didn't get a late hit, because he was awful late hitting Aubrey Cummings coming across the middle. And I'm just saying that because of the way the refs have been officiating this game, and it's been quick flags in all the late hits in all departments, and Eric England was quite late, and the flag stayed in the pocket. Thank goodness.
Mark McLaughlin has had most of the evening off. Stampeders have been scoring touchdowns. They haven't needed field goals. Here's his first drive. And it's good. 3 more for the Calgary Stampeders. Mark McLaughlin having another standout season. It's 40-14.
Game. Oh, top dollar.
Top dollar. I knew you would. Damon Allen hangs in for the BC Lions. Has Cunningham near side. Cunningham is run out. Well, it's lucky the kids look like mom.
No question about that. Thank goodness for that.
Eric Sutton ran him out.
Well, you know, once again, Damon Allen's putting up some numbers. You know, you look at 200 yards, probably be around 300 by the time it's over, but again, not enough points. And you think back to that first half, and they come away with field goals.
Yeah, 1 touchdown, right? 1 touchdown drive.
That to Craig Hendrickson.
Yes. Forgot about who caught it there. And that one is batted away on 2nd and 5. So back to the drawing board for this BC offense.
Well, it really is. It's, you know, it's finishing drives, and the pressure starts to build more and more on Joe Paopao, the offensive coordinator, and Damon Allen, the quarterback.
Problems in the red zone. That's the scoring zone, and that's where the Lions have really struggled.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. Look at that, 401 yards per game. But
that should win you a football game. 401 or keep you very close.
But it's not equating to points. Look, it's 7th in the league with 17.6 points a game, and that's the story.
Louis hammers pretty good kick here. And we'll see what Dickinson has up his sleeve when we return.
And the Crumbs.
Yeah, the Brothers 6.
Yeah.
Right? Used to be a group called the Brothers 4. This is the Brothers 6. All members of the BC Lions. Dickinson stays in. Far side. He has a completion. Travis Moore one more time.
You know, again, and everyone says, why are the Calgary Stampeders so good? They do the little things. Again, Travis Moore, rather than just running his out pattern down the field, he takes 4 hard steps back to the football and meets the football. He goes and meets it. He doesn't wait for the ball to come to him. Those are small things that go a long way in putting together your 86-yard game.
8 touchdowns on the season for Travis Moore, and that's a career high for him. It's week 5, too. Stands content to pound it away. Kelvin Anderson, who averages 5.5 yards a carry, 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons for Kelvin Anderson.
You know what I'm a little surprised with, John, is that Dave Dickinson is still in this football game, and the reason I'm surprised with it is with a 40-14 lead, the game is well in hand. If he takes a hit in the wrong way and you lose him.
Well, yeah. And that's a gamble not worth taking if you look at it some ways. Now, he may be telling Wally down there that he wants to stay in, and he'll work from the shotgun a little bit. But it's also a pretty good time to get a look at Troy Kopp in case anything does happen to Dickinson and you have to use Kopp somewhere along the way. It is Travis Moore again, and he is out to the 41.
Again, there he goes. I mean, 4 or 5 hard steps back to the football. That's why they're so good. This team is built by Wally Buono. The reason they're so successful, John, is they build from within. 16 players on this roster were players that were drafted by the Calgary Stampeders.
Kelvin Anderson being attended to on the sideline. 1st and 10 for the Stampeders. Dickinson remains in, and Rock Preston is into the game. He had 100 yards last week for the first time in the CFL. 7 carries, 120 yards. And it might be a dislocated finger or something. Pat Clayton was working on Kelvin Anderson's hand, and he appears to be feeling a little bit better now.
Wally Buono has a decision to make at the end of the year because both Kelvin Anderson and Rock Preston become free agents at the end of this season. Kelvin Anderson is the starter. There's no tailback controversy in Calgary. He will be the starter. Rock Preston will come in and pitch cleanup and mop up games like he's doing now. But both are very capable. Both become free agents at the end of the year.
Long toss on 2nd and 5. He's got him down to the 1-yard line. Mark Boerichter has another big catch for the Calgary Stampeders. These guys are too good.
Well, maybe the Stamps are, you wonder, we question Dave Dickinson still being in the game, and maybe they're just trying to send a message to the BC Lions, a team they will meet again, and a team that is definitely not out of the race because of a 4-game losing streak. They might be just trying to hammer them home and send a message over there.
35 yards the gain, and Boerichter has 3 catches, closing in on 100.
Well, they're spreading it around. Dave Dickinson using all his weapons tonight. Travis Moore's had a big night. Danielson, the only guy that really hasn't had a huge night is Alan Pitts. He's only made 4.
First and goal to go from the 2, and here's Rock Preston into the end zone for another Stampeder touchdown. Preston had an 84-yard run last week and didn't make it to the end zone. So that's number 1 for Preston this year.
When you get your opponent down, kick them.
Hammer them.
And that's what the Stampeders are doing right now.
But they've done it back-to-back, Glenn. Week 3, week 5, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you can do the math. That's 47 points tonight, 35 in week 5. That's 70, 80, 82.
Yeah, you're doing well. Keep going.
82 points in 2 games against a team in your division. These are 4-point games. 2 you get, and the 2 the other team doesn't get.
One more for the Calgary Stampeders. More frustration for Greg Mons and his BC Lions as Rock Preston hits the end zone. When your team is down 47-14, you still got to get down there and dance and cheer, right?
Keep on cheering.
Sports Desk later tonight. Highlights of that brilliant game tonight, the tie between the Argos and the Bombers. We'll have highlights from the Stampeders' performance, and the Jays beat the Royals, so highlights of that. Join the guys on Sports Desk tonight. Gino and Dave standing by shortly after the game. Levy returning for the BC Lions, and that's the best of the night. Chuck Levy out near midfield. Wrapped up by Audrey Cummings. Joe Fleming. And Stacy is at home with her feet up.
Yeah. Trying to relax.
Trying to relax. Joe will be home on the charter. There's no overtime here tonight, Stacy, so just relax. You'll be home 2.5 hours after the game's over.
Yeah, and I haven't seen the cell phones ringing down there, so there's been no panic down on that bench. Joe Fleming can concentrate on the game and get on that plane and get back there tonight.
Yeah, and we're kind of feeling like we're part of this. So, Stacy, if you want to think of the baby's name, if it's a boy, John Glenn, it'd be kind of cool.
Doug Nussmeier's in the game now for the BC Lions, the quarterback. Yeah. See if they can see what he can do.
Sean Fleming has a huge game. Nussmeier has not seen a whole bunch of activity. He's a rookie out of Idaho. As far as the CFL is concerned.
Yeah, that's right. He had, time in the NFL with the Saints, Broncos, Colts, and Bears. And one of the guys that the team loves, he's a natural leader. And the guys that hangs out with the O-line and
And the drive might end right there for the BC Lions. One of those nights. 8:12 to go. Who gets it back?
Doug News.
Yeah, BC's got it.
Doug Nussmeier didn't get a whole lot of reps in practice, I'm sure. And tells it all right there. The frustration in Damon Allen.
18 of 26, 203 yards, no interceptions, but just the 1 TD. And he really wasn't able to run the BC Lions offense with authority again tonight. So Damon will watch for a while, and Nussmeier gets his shot. Left-hander, and he has Sean Millington. Ray Biggs made the tackle.
Well, you know, you get him some reps. There's his numbers on the season. You get him some reps, and what it does is it gives you an opportunity to see what he can do, so that as this season progresses, maybe it's a situation where if Damon Allen is struggling in games, you pull him out for a series or two. You put Doug Nussmeier in there, see if he can watch from the sidelines if that helps, and then put him back in the game. It gives him that option.
This time he takes off. Nussmeier heads to the end zone. He's inside the 5, still going. He's to the 7-yard line, actually speaking. Eric Sutton over to make the tackle.
That's why they like him. See, he didn't slide. He doesn't go down. He gets up limping. He's like one of the old linemen in there. He hangs out with them, and he runs the ball hard with the game out of hand. And this is the kind of thing that rallies a team. He took off running, didn't slide, took a hit, and then limps back to the huddle to reload.
Gain is 20 yards, and the BC Lions are first and goal to go at the 7. And there's a touchdown for the Lions as Millington slides into the end zone. It's a little bit late, but a little something to cheer about.
Run the straight draw play to Sean Millington. Everybody on that Calgary defense believing that Doug Nussmeier is going to throw a football, little drop play. Good block right there at the point of attack by Steve Harden to open it up for Sean Millington.
Well, the Lions are within 27.
They'll go for 2 and try and get as many points as they can in a hurry. Likely onside kick. Why not?
So Doug Nussmeier comes in and engineers a touchdown drive. He's a big part of it with a 20-yard run himself, looking for 2 here, and he missed the target. Looking for Robert Drummond, number 29. So 5:51 to play, final quarter at BC Place. It's all Calgary all night long. Into 3rd place overall in the all-time coaching victories list. 1 win ahead of Eagle Keys of Saskatchewan. Greg Mons heads it back to the drawing board to try and figure out how to score some touchdowns with his talented BC offense. Marv Coleman returning for Calgary, and he's wrapped up by one of the Crum boys. Loose ball, and Levy has come up with it, number 23.
Well, we talked about being a mistake by the Calgary defense. Maybe the only thing that could get the Lions back in this game now. Is it too little, too late? Chuck Levy gets the fumble recovery on the Marvin Coleman fumble. I'm not sure who it was that. There he is right there. I'm not sure who it was that knocked it out. It was Jason Crum, I think, pulled it out of there. Jason Crum gets it on the floor. Chuck Levy picks it up. Now Doug Nussmeier can put a quick one on the board. They're down by 20. Just the 3 scores they need.
They just need 3. 4 touchdowns will win it, right?
Well, 3 touchdowns. If they score here, yeah, 4 touchdowns. Yeah.
They're down by 27. 4 sevens are 28. You win 48-47.
That's a big.
Got to get them one at a time, like right here.
And he overthrew him.
Yeah. Don Blair catch tonight.
Remember we were talking in the first quarter how many hitch passes they ran? Well, this is the other half of that, and I mentioned that they'll go to it somewhere in the game where they fake the hitch pass and go over top. That was the play. They did have Don Blair open, and Doug Nussmeier just couldn't get it to him.
Blair has not been a factor for the BC Lions so far this year. He started the season on the injury list after suffering complications following surgery, and he has not been himself so far in 2000. Nussmeier chased down by Fleming. Got it ahead for Sean Millington. Yes. Touchdown, BC. Nice play.
Guess what? There's now a quarterback controversy in Vancouver.
Well, you'll start one.
I guarantee you right now, there will be a quarterback controversy tomorrow.
Can you see the front page of the Province and the Sun tomorrow morning if Newsmeyer manages to get one more touchdown?
But look at this play. This is making it up as you go along.
Underhand.
Underhand pass as you're going down to Sean Millington. Heads up by Doug Newsmeyer. That's the play that the controversy will begin with.
Yeah, there's one for the highlight reels tonight. That will be coast to coast like buttered toast tonight.
Man, they'll go for 2 again.
Well, maybe you don't go for 2 here because 3 more touchdowns gives you the advantage.
3 more converted touchdowns.
3 more converted touchdowns.
Now you look at it and miss it.
Yeah.
You tie instead of win with 3 converted touchdowns.
He should be going for 1. Well, Newsmeyer's going to take it himself. Toss that. No way. I think that's an error, Glenn. I mean, if my math is halfway correct here.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right. You're looking at, if you get the single, you're down by 20, 3 touchdowns, which is a long shot anyway with 4:40 left.
No,
but 3 touchdowns, wins the game
No,
for
3
you.
touchdowns get you the tie now after missing that 2-point
Well, that's
coverage.
what I'm saying.
3 converted touchdowns would have given you the opportunity for a 1-point win.
Right. Well, now you got a tie. But you know what they're thinking is they're so far behind that, you know, if they get both 2-point converts, they're that much closer. You know,
No,
so
it's bad math, Glenn.
yeah, well, you're right.
It is bad math. 47-26 is the score. Damon Allen congratulates the new BC Lions quarterback.
Well, coming into this game, Damon Allen was 22 completions from passing Ron Lancaster all time for completions. He got within 4 and won't get any closer tonight. And now there is a quarterback controversy in this city. I guarantee you, because this is a guy that's taken a ton of heat, even when the team has won. All last year when they finished 13-5, he took a bunch of heat from the media. I guarantee you it'll be turned up a lot.
Dan Giancola, short kick down near the 22. And Coleman just heads to the sidelines. Giancola playing his first game as a member of the BC Lions. And he hasn't been called upon to kick any field goals tonight. However, Giancola has handled the kickoffs. He is the happiest kicker in the history of football, in my opinion. He was absolutely elated when he arrived here yesterday.
Yeah, he got in. He got in late. We were all waiting on him, and he got in a little bit late and said that they had lost his plane.
Oh, yes, this was pretty funny. We had a little problem leaving Toronto yesterday, but Giancola really had a problem. When he got to the gate, the announcement was made, we're sorry, we can't find the plane. So there are a few airport problems coast to coast in Canada, but I guess they found the plane eventually, and Giancola made it here.
I think that's the understatement of the night. There's a few airport problems in this country these days. Well, now finally Troy Kopp comes into the game for Dave Dickinson, who finished with a tremendous night, and get a chance to see Troy Kopp.
Calgary 16, first down repeated.
And right off the bat, the cadence change to the offensive line is sometimes a little more difficult to adapt to. You've got the quarterback who you haven't seen much of at all, as is Kopp's case. But Dickinson was out of this one, well rested. A couple of touchdown passes tonight, like 4.
Close to perfect as you can be.
Kopp handing off to Rock Preston. He broke one for 84 last week. He's out to the 20-yard line. And Eric England had the stop on him there. Dave Dickinson numbers tonight look like this. 20 of 29, not bad. 355, not bad. 4 touchdowns.
It was a pitching.
You know, it's not up to his usual standard. He threw 6 in Saskatchewan.
Well, he didn't have the help of overtime tonight.
That's true.
And likely won't, but he is on fire, as they say.
So 4 more touchdowns for Dickinson, who watches his understudy work, Troy Kopp. And again, a procedure call goes against the rookie Calgary quarterback.
He ran out of time.
Yeah.
There's yet another penalty in this game, and he time count violation, trying to audible on the line, and didn't get the playoff, so they'll have to reload.
Yeah, talking about Dickinson, 13 touchdowns in his last 3 games. On pace for a bunch. The record set by Doug Flutie at 48. And if he stays on this pace, he's got a shot at 50 plus. 2nd and 10.
Another penalty.
Yeah, another one. It's Bo Richter making the catch.
Well, they may have to hold this Calgary charter to get back and have some more airport fun, because with the amount of penalties in this game, it's got to be one of the longer ones in the CFL season.
Stacy, we're doing our best to get him home on time.
You talk about Joe Fleming's wife, who's overdue now.
Overdue, a week overdue now.
Yeah.
We're sort of like godfathers to this child, aren't we?
In some ways.
We've been living it for a couple of weeks. Joe's pretty excited and a little nervous. And he's ready to go home.
Well, and he wants to be there, but not like in the room. he's going to be in the room, but they said, "Are you going to cut the cord?" He said, "No way, man. That gives me the creeps."
Hands up.
Martino down to Jimmy the Jet. Great return here would help the BC Lions, and he doesn't get it. Only about 4 as he's wrapped up by Aldi Henry. Stampeders are too good for the BC Lions so far tonight.
If you haven't seen it, it's sort of a competition where they do other type of events. Rowing and
log cutting.
Log cutting.
Also challenge on bikes and strength.
Leg pressing cheerleaders.
Yeah. On a machine. Yeah.
Yeah, on a machine. It was an interesting, it's very interesting to watch these guys go, and you get an idea of their personalities away from the game too. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Benefield is featured this week as up close and personal. So there you go. The one
right.
coming up right after the game, I should say. 2nd and 10. Lions need a bunch to get back in this one. Sean Millington. Whoa, he got an extra 5 yards on the tackle. He was hit from behind and propelled ahead by about 4, maybe 5 yards.
Problem for the Lions is he needed 6. I think he's going to be just short. Well, they might take a look at it.
And watch this here. No, you don't see it quite as well from the back angle, I don't think, but we might be able to see it. He got nailed by Jacobs from behind, and that gave him an extra few yards. He takes it the rest of the way. Sean Millington, first down BC. As Jacobs made the tackle again. 2:31 to go. Lions down by a bunch. It's 47-26.
You know what, John? I'm talking about the quarterback controversy that will, for sure.
Well, I mean, you've stirred it up now.
Well,
so
it's going to happen.
Definitely here.
It's going to happen tomorrow, I guarantee you. But when you look at it, Damon Allen in the last 18 quarters of play generated 3 touchdowns, and Doug Nussmeier in 1 quarter, if he can finish this drive, will have generated 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Henry made the catch and steps out near the 30. Now the Stampeders are backing off a little bit, trying to waste some time on the clock, but that doesn't really seem to matter to people who cheer for the backup quarterback, does it? I mean, you can see that he has moved the football team effectively, and more so than Damon Allen was able to do through 3 quarters.
That's right. And, you know, you're right. The Calgary defense will be backing off and allowing some of those plays underneath, but still got to make plays. You still got to throw and catch the football, and Doug Nussmeier's looked pretty good in his few series that he's been in the game.
Yeah, Sean Millington again. 2:16 to go. Damon Allen looking at his 4th straight loss as the starting quarterback for the BC Lions, and after such a promising start, you can bet they'll crank up the heat a little bit on the entire BC organization here on the West Coast.
Well, and you wonder how many, if the airlift will happen.
Nussmeier. And Don Blair didn't even go after that one.
That was well over his head.
But he has nice orange gloves on.
It looked like it was in between Don Blair and Alfred Jackson. That ball was kind of in front of Jackson and over top of Blair, and neither really made an effort to go back.
I don't suppose that would be a dress code violation when your gloves don't match your shoes or something.
I don't know, it may be. Although orange is a Lions color.
Yeah, I guess it is a Lions color. Well, there's a gamble here. 3rd down and 8. Or make it 7. Not much else to do. Nussmeier away from 1, 2, and he's wrapped up and tossed to the turf like a sack of potatoes.
I was wondering about a face mask that Calgary may have got away with one there. It looked like someone grabbed his face mask. I'm not sure if they got it or just across the helmet. Either way, he goes down and no call is made. And Fleming will get himself to the sideline. Here it is. Whether or not he got that face mask grabbed in this, he has time. Flushed initially there, and right there I thought it was. No, it wasn't. It was around the net. You know what the problem, and one of the things I look at when I see this BC Lion team, John, is a real lack of enthusiasm. I mean, there's tons of enthusiasm from that guy, the head coach, but I don't see it with this team on the field. They're not big celebrations after big plays, although there hasn't been a whole lot of big plays to celebrate.
2:01 to go. 1st and 10, Stampeders. Brock Preston is wrapped up after a gain of a couple. Here's what the problem is for the Calgary Stampeders right now. They have 47 points on the board. They don't want to pour it on the BC Lions. So what they have to do is devise a way to stay out of the BC end zone.
Oh, no, and you don't do that. You pound them, and that's what they've been doing all game long. And it's just, again, in a game that was so important, to see the BC Lions come out with a true lack of enthusiasm. Now, this game is over, and you're obviously going to be down, and everyone's sort of waiting for next week to come along already. But you just don't see the enthusiasm, the jumping around, the celebrations, the excitement in this BC Lions team. It doesn't seem like they're real hungry, and you know, you're not questioning the heart of the players because they show up ready to play. You know that. There's a lot of veterans over on that sideline that you got to believe are showing up prepared and ready to play, but a ton of penalties, lack of concentration, and really a lack of enthusiasm.
Yeah, fairly evident. And when you look at the BC Lion bench right now, I mean, that's disappointment you're reading on the faces of the players over there. They know that there's no opportunity to come back and get close.
Well, number one, they couldn't stop Calgary's offense, not once when they had to. And offensively for them, they just couldn't punch it in early to keep pace because it was 14-0. They had a couple of cracks, came away with field goals, and it snowballed from there.
And it's tough to lose 4 in a row at any time in this league. Here's Rock Preston. Eric England made the tackle.
And on the other side, boy, if you're a Calgary Stampeder fan right now, you got to be pretty happy with the team that you see on the field. A team that was in the Grey Cup last year is the representative from the West, and a team that is better this year.
And we'll give him the Adidas game ball right now because there's no one who can surpass his accomplishments tonight. 355 yards and 4 touchdowns. And lots of touchdowns in his last 3 games for Dave Dickinson. He is really having an outstanding season.
And you know what you got to love about this, too, is that Calgary Stampeders now looking very good. The Edmonton Eskimos really coming on and playing well, won 3 in a row. They're in Montreal tomorrow night, or at home against Montreal tomorrow night. All kind of creeping towards the Labor Day matchup between Calgary and Edmonton.
Yeah, Nealon Green is flying. Montreal Alouettes are having a great year. Best return of the night for Jimmy Cunningham. He's out to the 30-yard line. It's a little late. Wrapped up there by Daryl Hall into the final 57 when we return. Back with less than a minute to go at the stadium at BC Place. 1st and 10 for the Lions. Back near the BC 31. Far side, Jackson makes the catch on the toss from Doug Neusmeyer, and he'll be in 1st down territory there.
Well, I guess we can give Wally Buono the win.
Yes, I can, and move him into 3rd spot all by himself. 1 victory ahead of my first CFL football coach, Eagle Keys, back in those Saskatchewan days. He was a great coach and a terrific guy. Eagle Keys from Turkey Neck Bend, Kentucky.
I mentioned Wally Buono, and one of the reasons he's been so successful in the 90s, the most successful coach in the 90s, Robert Drummond pounds it up there, but one of the reasons, as I mentioned, he builds from within. The Canadian Football League roster, you have to have 19 Canadians. 16 of Wally Buono's Canadians are Canadians that they drafted in this organization. They've kept them in the organization for the most part. I mean, Greg Frères went and came back, but for the most part, they've built this team. You're around this organization for 3 or 4 years before you get a chance to become a regular starter.
Neusmeyer hit Millington right on the hands, and he couldn't squeeze it. 33 seconds to go. The Lions on the verge of their 4th loss in a row. And after a promising start for Greg Mons, it's disappointment time, and I'm sure there will be a little criticism of this BC offense.
Well, apparently he talked to owner David Braley after the loss last week, and David Braley has given him his full support. Having said that, another blowout like this to the Calgary Stampeders, and you know, you start to wonder how long will he go. Now, 1 or 2 or even 3, 4 losses doesn't make a season. But this is going to be a tight race. The Edmonton Eskimos play tomorrow night. They win there, they now get some separation.
And start going after the Calgary Stampeders.
You know, and the good news for Greg Mons is there's a lot of football to be played. He doesn't need to panic just yet. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders are still struggling, so he's in the playoffs still.
Leesmeyer runs for another first down.
And that's the bottom line. I mean, really, he said in the press conference yesterday, he went into the season or into the playoffs last year at the end of the season with a 13-5 record, best in Canadian football, okay? He goes into the playoffs with a record and doesn't get to the Grey Cup. He said you can win the Grey Cup at 9-9. Teams have done that before.
Didn't you do that once?
Yeah.
89, 9-9.
9-9 record, won the
Lucked your way in.
And lucked our way there and lucked our way to a ring.
You don't luck your way there. I'm just kidding you, pal, because obviously you got to play the games when they're on the line. But 9-9, and with enthusiasm, you get in and you show up Grey Cup afternoon and you win the darn thing.
1988, Winnipeg did it with a 9-9 record.
Yeah.
Bottom line is it can be done. And as long as you get in the playoffs, right now, the Lions have a playoff spot. Saskatchewan's in 4th. Winnipeg lost again, so the crossover is not